When you make the shift from seeing clients in person to serving them online, your office is no longer just your treatment room, it's your computer. And the way you have your desktop set up can make your work feel smooth and efficient, or it can add unnecessary stress and frustration. So some people have these epic desk setups with this giant computer monitor and these three massive displays, and they can easily maneuver files around to stay organized. You've probably seen them. They have everything spread out like a mission control, and I admit I get a little jealous when I see these big display setups and I'm huddled over one screen wishing I had multiple computers to work with. And recently, I attended a live event and I brought my laptop, which meant shrinking my usual 32-inch display down to 15 inches. And I needed one tab for my AI tool. I needed another tab for a document that I was reading, another tab for the document that I was copying everything into. And so my computer screen got really filled up very quickly. And so on that small laptop, there was a constant shuffle, clicking back and forth and losing my place. And it was easy to get frustrated. And that's why I want to show you a simple workaround that will let you see and navigate everything you need without that juggling act. Hi, I'm Lisa Hanfaletti. I am the member success coach at HealAtScale. And if you've ever wanted to have multiple browser windows open at once, but thought it wasn't possible because you have a small screen, this will change your view, literally, because I'm about to show you how you can get that mission control feeling without buying a new computer. So let's go ahead and take a look. So here I am on my 32-inch monitor. So this is a pretty big space, but don't worry, I'm going to show you how you can do this on any kind of size screen. And this is one of those quick tips that can make a huge difference in your day-to-day workflow, especially if you're trying to follow along with a video training and you're using an AI tool and you're taking notes all at the same time. So I'm going to show you a real life process for this. And the example I'm going to show you is if you are, for instance, you're watching a video. So you've got a video training here. And in this instance, you also have a copy document that you need to copy things into. So this is your copy document, but you also have a prep document that you have a lot of other notes on that you've collected and you've put together. So this is here. And then you have your AI tool that you're also working in and getting information and you're copying and pasting. So this is a real life kind of thing that might happen in our practitioner accelerator group, where we are often teaching them how to excel and accelerate their process by using AI. Before I get into the exact technique, I do want to point something out up here. So I'm going to draw your attention up to the top of the screen here. And I just want you to see that there are a whole bunch of tabs that are open at the top. And I'm just scrolling quickly through here. It's not for you to read them. It's just for you to see how many tabs there are. And there's a little X next to them so I can close these if I need to. Now, what happens when you have a much smaller screen is, let's watch what happens to these tabs. I'll bring this into the center here. Now these tabs are so close together that sometimes if you were to click on one, meaning to go to get to it, it would actually close the tab, and that can be extremely frustrating. Ask me how I know. So I'm going to show you in a few minutes how you can actually put these tabs into groups, and that will also make things easier. So currently I actually have these in groups. I'm going to click them real quick and it closes a group and it leaves just the tabs open that I'm working with, and you just saw them expand there really quickly. So again, now I have a nice little bit of working space. So I'm going to come back to this thing called tab groups in a few minutes. First, I want to just show you how you can set up your screen regardless of what size it is. So I'm going to make this much bigger. So we're going to cover up my whole screen here. Again, this is a large screen. And what I want to show you is in Chrome, using a Chrome window, and I'm using a Mac. A lot of what I'm going to show you can also be used in a PC and also in other types of browsers. I'm going to link at the end of this video to a video right here from Travis, and shows how you can solve any tech problem anytime using AI. And so if you want to try to do the same thing in a PC or a different browser type, then just go ahead and watch this video and it will show you how you can ask that question and get the answer in real time. So I just want to let you know, if you don't have a Mac or you're not using Chrome, this can still apply. You just need to ask a few questions to figure out for your exact setup how it will work. In a Mac, however, there's a nifty little tool here, and I'm going to scroll up to the top right or top left corner, and I want to point out these 3 dots. It's this green dot, and I'm going to hover over this. So I'll show you when I hover over this dot, this green dot, as long as I'm not in full screen mode. So let me just show you. If I click this green dot, I'm going to go into full screen. And now when I hover over it, nothing happens. It does not give me any choices because I have to exit full screen in order to get the choices to split the screen. So I'm just going to click exit full screen. It'll take me back down to where I was. And now when I hover over this, you can see it says move left or move right. So I can choose either one of these and it will automatically take my browser window to half of my screen. And now what I can do is I can pull out, let's say I want to watch the video on one side. So I'm going to take this. You can see how I just grabbed it. All I'm doing is I'm grabbing this tab. I'm just clicking on it. And when I click it and hold down, and I can move it anywhere I want. And I'm actually going to move it all the way off into a new window. So it automatically pops into a new window. Now, let's say it's, completely different size and shape. It's right here. And I want it to be the exact same size as this one. I can do the same thing where I come over to the green dot right there. And when I hover over it, now this time I'm going to choose right. And it automatically resizes it. So now I have 2 equal size screens. So I can be watching my video training on this screen, and I can be putting my notes or using my chat GPT on the other screen. Now, I'm already mixed up because I have a method where I like to have my video always on the left. So all I did to move this is I just grabbed the whole browser bar, not the tab. If I grab the tab, in this case it works, but if I were to grab a tab, on one of these other ones, it pulls it out. So you can play around with this. You'll get familiar with it relatively quickly. So I just grab the browser bar and I'm moving it over to the left. And if I want it perfectly sized, I'm going to then make it go to the left. And then same with the right one. I'm just going to hover over the green and I'm going to choose the right. You can see that they have little images right here. So sometimes it comes up as left, right, the words. And then other times, I can't zoom in on all of these. It comes up as images so you can see left and right. So you can do it more visually. So now I have my video on the left, and on the right side, I have the documents that I'm going to be copying and pasting into. And again, I have a method for how I do this. So my video's here. This is also going to be a document that I've gotten information that I've already put into it. So I'll be copying this and I'll be putting it into my my GPT here, my AI tool, getting information and then pasting it into another document. So you can set things up the way that they make sense to you, and you might need to play around with it. I'd probably have my GPT tool over here. So everything that I copy and paste is always on my right side. Everything that I'm learning about, reading, and watching is on my left side. So I just copy from left to right. That's what makes sense to me. So that is one of the ways that you can expand your screen and your workspace. Creating a habit for yourself where you always have the video on one side and your copy documents or AI tool on another, that will help things get done much more efficiently for you. So you do need to play around with it and get organized and see what works best for your workflow. And then once you know that, create a habit where things are always in the same place, and that will make things go much more quickly. Now, what if you don't have a 32-inch screen? So let me show you. Let's shrink these down into the size of like a 15-inch screen. All you would be doing is exactly what I'm showing you right here, which is you're going to be manually moving them around. Now, if you're on a Mac, again, you can use that technique where you use the little green button there and it will automatically resize things. But you can also, like, sometimes you don't need all this space if you're just watching a video, right? You could even make the video a certain quadrant that you're watching right there. So there's my video right there. And then I could have another, maybe my chat GPT right down here underneath it. And then I could have the document that I'm moving things into. I could even make this smaller, so that I can fit more information in there. And now I have my document here. So you can see how you can resize things to the amount of space that you have and then just be aware that where you're clicking, you want to be able to see your tabs so you know which ones you're clicking into, and that gives you a little bit more space. So that's the first step here, is knowing that you can resize things by grabbing the browser itself and extending or moving it around. And you can use the hover tool right here on the Mac. I'll just show you again where this is. It's when you hover over that green thing, as long as you're not in full screen mode, you'll be given the option to go left or right. And then once you move one to one side, you can then do the same thing with the other browser. And then you can also just manually, resize things to whatever works for you based on whatever amount of space that you have. So there's lots of different orientations that you can do. So it just depends on what it is that you're doing and what works best for you visually. Now let's talk about browser tabs. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to have you watch me as I move everything into one browser. So this is something else that I want you to get familiar with, which is, so I'm going to just take, if I take the browser and move it, the whole browser moves. I'm going to take the tab and I'm going to move the whole tab right up into this one here. And I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so you can see. So you can see all of my tabs at the top. You can see all these tabs at the top here. Again, I'm just going to make that you can see all these tabs that I have at the top. And what I'm going to do is I want to move these tabs. So this browser, I want to move these tabs up to here too. So I'm just going to grab one and I'm going to drag it. And I'm going to grab the other and I'm going to drag it. And since there aren't any more, that browser is completely closed. And then I'm going to make this whole thing big so you can see all of my tabs here. Now, are you seeing all of my tabs? Here they are as I go across. I'm going to let you know that you're not seeing all my tabs because these two are actually tab groups. So there are things hidden in these because I have these groups closed. So I want you to see what happens when I click on this group right here. It just opened up a whole bunch of other tabs that were hidden before. And they're all the ones that are underneath this kind of teal line because that is the color that I selected. So this is teal, and you can see the ones that are above this teal line are in this tab group. So the teal line just stopped there, and then these are the ones that are outside of that tab group. And if I go to this orange one right here, I'm going to click it open. You can see now there are new tabs underneath this orange line, and they stop, and then I have the green line. So you can see there's the orange tab group, there's the teal tab group, and then there's all of these that are not in a group at all. So what are tab groups and how do you get them set up? Let me show you. If you go into Chrome and you come into these three little dots at the far right of your Chrome browser bar. So this is my browser bar. And I go to the far right, there should be, you might have more symbols here than I do. And then you have these three dots right there. So when I click on those three dots, you can see, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger here, just spotlight it. You will see as I scroll down, there's a section that is tab groups. And when I hover over tab groups, it has create a new tab group. Now I already have two tab groups that are open. And when I hover over them, it shows what the tabs are in that group. Same with this one, it shows what my tabs are in that group. So I can create a new tab group. And so if I want to create a new tab group, I just click on that. And then it gives me these options over here. I can name the group. So I'm going to name this new tab group. Going to make it blue. And then there are some other options here. New tab in a group, move group to new window, close group, ungroup, or delete group. So for now, I've got this new tab group. Now there's nothing in there. So, but what I can do is if this is my new tab group, maybe this is what I'm working on when I'm doing my training, I can move all of my tabs into this new group right here. So all the ones that I was just working on, they are now in this new tab group. So now when I close these up, you can see how clean this is right here. So this is important too if you're on Zoom calls and maybe you have certain things that you're working on but you don't want to show. You can have a tab group that has those things, another tab group that's working on a different sort of business aspect that you just don't want to close everything, and then another one where you're like the actual window that you're working in that has all of the tabs open that you need to use for that particular project. You'll also notice that my bookmarks bar just opened up, and these tab groups also show up if you have your bookmarks bar open. And that is another way to access the tab groups. And then you can also add a tab group by clicking on the 4 dots up here. If I click on those four boxes, then you can add a new tab group from here. So you have the option to see your tab groups down here in the bookmarks bar. You can add a tab group from here. Now let's see what happens when we use these tab groups in a smaller screen. So I'm going to shrink my screen back down to like a 15-inch screen. We'll kind of get it shaped up here a little bit. So when you're on a laptop or something like that, you can see you still have these tab groups that you can expand or make small again. And then it still makes it much easier to work with this. And you can also take out an entire tab group. And now the same thing that we did before, where we can resize things based on our workspace. I can now move these, I can rearrange these so that they, take up half of the screen, move things around, and I have an entire tab group that I moved over into another section, and I still have my other tab groups over here. So regardless of what size your computer monitor is, you can use the tools that your PC or Mac gives you. So with the Mac, you can use the automatic resizing. You can use that, or you can just stretch the browsers by grabbing them until you see that little arrow on the edge or on the side, and you can make them the exact size that you want. And then I also recommend looking at the tabs that you can use in the Chrome itself using the tab grouping. That is a really useful way to be able to sort things, and then you can expand them or contract them depending on what it is that you're working on. Great. So hopefully that was helpful. You now have your own mission control center, regardless of what size display you're working on, whether you're working on a laptop or a great big desktop computer. Now, if you want to get more efficiency hacks, and we've got lots of them, go ahead and watch the next video and be sure to subscribe to our channel. And I'll see you in the next video.